We like to start with some of the most alienating noises you've ever heard. Here on Sonic Weekly, baby, we're back. We're back with Sonic Weekly. Grant here, one of your co-hosts, and the boys are back in town. Bo is here. Hi, Bo.
Here we go, buddy. Hey, we've hardly got any time for banter. There is so much to discuss.
There really is. And so the star of the show, out of the shadows, into the spotlight, David the Lurker. Hi, David.
Oh, hi, Grant. Hi, Bo. Yeah, you're right. Bo is back in his town. So that did work.
That's right, because close listeners of the show will notice that previously, in previous episodes, it was mentioned that Bo was going to come to Grant, me, Los Angeles, to go to the Hollywood show of the Sonic Symphony, and we indeed did do that. Bo, how was it?
Hey, the Symphony is a great show. It is great to see the band play, the symphony play, and really, can you hear them over the people shouting the lyrics to the vocal songs? No, but is the energy great? Yes. Are the songs great? Yes, if you could hear them. Is the crowd great? Yes. Overall, Symphony, A+. Would do it again. In fact, did it again, and we'll probably do it a third time if available.
Yeah, gotta credit you for making it happen, and was very happy to have gone. And then, how would you rate the Airbnb experience of staying at the Grashland home?
Well, I would say in no other Airbnb that I've stayed is there a cat named Luppy Luppy. So I think that's all of the points right there.
Yeah. Okay. We'll take it. We also made Bo play a lot of Sonic Unleashed. We played a lot of Sonic Unleashed in the.
I have had an Airbnb host force me to do that. So
yeah, that's not new to you.
Yeah, that's standard, I think.
Okay. Well, we had a great time, and then obviously the big news of the week, David, is Sonic Central came as a surprise. It was announced on a Monday, played on a Tuesday, was christened on a Wednesday, married on a Thursday, and then Solomon Grundy on Friday.
That's right.
Is that true?
That is true. I think
Dark Beginnings on Wednesday, podcast on Thursday. Friday, we're all getting King Ice.
That is right. We don't want to bury the lead, which is of course King Ice. But yeah, the Sonic Central, it came out of nowhere. I guess there were a lot of people who were thinking, oh, maybe they're not doing one this year because usually it's earlier. You know, it's in the summer. It's around Sonic's birthday.
Yeah, I always thought it was a Sonic birthday thing, but not this time.
Not this time. I should have written down what the other dates were, but I just know that usually it would have happened by now. Last year, I think it was Sonic's birthday exactly. Yeah, but we got it, and it wasn't just. It's the 4th annual, and it's the longest one that we've had so far. It is right. 27 minutes, 44 seconds in the US, or in the regular English version, and then the Japanese version has an extra 3 minutes. What happens in those 3 minutes? We'll get there later.
Incomprehensible.
That's right. I can't understand it. I don't speak Japanese. But hey, if you've watched it, you probably know what's coming on. If you didn't watch it, and you just want to listen to us, I guess that's what we're going to do. Right? What else is there to talk about? Nothing. Nothing else happened in the world aside from Sonic the Hedgehog. So, whoa, what? In similar fashion, it begins as it always does, which with Ivo Gersovic and Takashi Iizuka. Look at them. They're still sitting there. They're hanging out.
They haven't moved since the last one.
No, they haven't.
Stuck in that room.
They are stuck in that room.
They changed their Sonic t-shirts, I think.
Yeah, well,
not the jeans, not the blazers.
That's right. Well, you don't have to watch jeans. That's what
I know.
The Levi Strauss suggests you never watch them.
Yeah, they're committing no crimes. We're opening on a shot of 2 men who have committed no crimes. How often can you say that, Yuji Naka, co-creator of Sonic the Hedgehog?
That's true. It's true. So they're sitting there. I mean, it starts off pretty simple. They're thanking the fans. They're like, hey, it's Fearless Year of Shadow. They do a couple bits. Gersovic, he does a motorcycle bit.
Right.
Shadow, he rides a motorcycle. I understood the reference.
I understood the reference, yeah. And then Well, right. So they just sort of built everything up. The first thing we're dealing with after they have their comedy, I wonder who wrote it, talked about mobile gaming, which is of course the only thing anyone wants to hear about involving Sonic the Hedgehog. Who here is excited about Sonic Rumble still?
Well, the big reveal was that it's coming to PC.
Yes.
So that is pretty exciting. You
Yeah,
can
I'm
play with a
wondering
controller then.
if I have to play this now. I have a
Mi-
PC.
I have a
I
PC.
have a Sonic podcast. I
You
feel
do.
like legally. But
Yeah.
it's also it looks better than it has before. Like they had that weirdly low frame rate trailer before, and they
Yeah.
seemed to be putting in very little effort prior. But now this one has like new arrangements of the color songs that sound pretty great, and like
Yeah.
looks like it moves nicely and it
Yeah.
looks nice and colorful.
Yeah.
It's the Sonic Rumble glow up. That's what the kids they're all tweeting about.
This winter is when it's coming, they said. No specified date, just winter.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess they're slowly rolling it out because I forget which country it is. It's somewhere in South America, right, where it is currently live,
Oh,
and you can download it on your phone and play it. But most places it's still not there. What are they doing? I don't know. I guess they're just doing what every mobile rollout does.
they give it to Venezuela first because they've had so much political turmoil. They feel like the people they need a little
Yeah.
bit of respite from that, and then it'll go everywhere else.
Yeah, I think it's. I thought it was Brazil. They traded Twitter for Sonic Rumble, right? They outlawed Twitter, and then they, in exchange, got Sonic Rumble.
Right. That's probably where most of their social media is occurring now within
Yeah.
Sonic Rumble.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, it looks fun. I know some people got to try it out.
But it wasn't just Rumble. There was like a lot of mobile
Yes.
all at once. It was like, and then
Mhm.
Team Sonic Racing, and then Sonic Dash, and Sonic Forces, and
Yeah.
whatever. I can't even remember all of them.
Right. So they were like, oh, in all of those Dash speed battle games, Valhalla Surge, Oni Mephiles, Warrior Shadow, Dulce de Lamy. It's just they said Dulce Amy, but I think it's Dulce, right? Like Dulce
I think
or
it's
Dulce
supposed
de
to be.
Leche, whatever.
Dolce
And
Gabbana.
I think with these
Dulcie
things,
the
like
dinosaur.
there's a whole installed base of Sonic fans who know stuff that we don't because they're like dialed into these mobile games.
Mhm.
And like we know everything, but
Right.
not this stuff.
No.
We are out of our depths in the
That's right.
mobile world.
So basically, then they're like, oh, Shadow's coming to Dream Team. And then they're like, hey, remember Sonic Racing? And everyone said no, because I think everyone forgets that it's on Apple Arcade. But
Right.
they're adding Popstar Amy. And also, did you know Rockstar Rouge and DJ Vector are there? I didn't, but it's there. And Time Trials, which Team Sonic Racing came out like how many years ago? I don't know what.
5 years ago.
5 years ago. And yet, I guess they realized this game still exists on mobile. So, yeah, bunch of mobile stuff.
Yeah. And, I mean, we should probably talk for a moment about the fact that mobile's where you get all of the, get characters like Surge.
Yeah.
IDW characters. They're making that crossover in the mobile
Uh-huh.
section of Sonic first.
That's what I'm saying. It's like an island where things are just kind of evolving on their own, disconnected from everything else. And you come one day and you're like, why is Big the Cat wearing a leather jacket and Blaze is wearing a monocle?
Yeah, there's so many alternate outfits in them, which is something that I've been wanting for every Sonic game. And in Frontiers, you get a few options, but you don't have the degree of options that you can to dress up Sonic in goofy outfits as you do in the mobile game. So what's up with that?
In Sonic Colors Ultimate, you can change his gloves, right?
Yeah, you can put on leopard skin gloves or whatever. You can zebra print gloves, but you can't make DJ Battle Vector do a wheelie like you can in. Can you do? No, there's no bikes in Sonic Racing.
As far as there could be, as far as I know.
I mean, who knows? It's a mystery. If you've played Sonic mobile games, email us at sonicweeklypodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.
If you've been a dedicated Sonic Dash player for the last 10 years, because isn't that how long that game's been out?
Yeah.
It's before Forces, right?
Oh, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Because I remember they talked about Sonic Dash at the 25th anniversary party, and even at that point, it's like, this game's been out for years. Why are you still talking about it? But I guess it'll never die, partially because I think it is technically the most known Sonic game of all time is Sonic Dash. It's been downloaded more. I was going to say best selling, but you don't buy it; it's free. But
But you can spend money in it.
you can, yeah. So what, like 100 million, 200 million? Like it's an absurd amount of downloads, and that's why Sega will forever talk about Sonic Dash.
You could do worse than Sonic Dash. It doesn't play unlike a boost game.
Mhm.
You move side to side, you jump, you slide, you
Yeah.
boost. That's kind of the core mechanics. You have a homing attack.
Yeah,
You dance. You dance.
You dan-
You dance in the air. So you do air tricks.
yeah.
You could do worse. That's all I'm saying. It's kind of that's not a terrible introduction to what Sonic is.
But we know very little about it.
That's true. Don't know anything about it.
But Sonic Central showed us a little bit of what we've been missing out
Yeah.
on.
I mean, I've played some Sonic Dash,
Right.
and Sonic Dream Team. You know, we played some of that on Apple
yeah.
Arcade.
That's right. When it
Am I going to resubscribe to get Shadow? Probably not.
maybe when there's more levels.
I think they added more levels.
They did add. They added last update. There was a brand new level.
Yeah.
I don't think they mentioned a new level this time around, but I guess if you wait a year, maybe you could subscribe for a month.
I'm getting grumpy. I want it on consoles.
Yeah.
I have too many consoles to
play.
do this other extra thing.
Yeah,
It's got to go to where the game machines are.
that makes sense.
Even though Apple funded it, and I get it, but they could still, I don't know, figure it out. Take a percentage. I don't know.
Well, speaking of things that you may or may not have missed out on, we then got a nice little Fearless Year of Shadow, I guess a sizzle reel is what we could call it, where it's just like, hey, we've been doing a bunch of events. We're telling you about it after the fact. Hope you've been paying attention. So there's some footage from the F1 Miami Grand Prix, the Hype Gold International, which I guess is golf. Some footage from the Sonic.
Is that where the motorcycle was?
Yeah, I guess the motorcycles at all of these. So you'd be
Okay,
like,
yeah.
oh, right. Because when they show somebody sitting on the motorcycle, you're like, well, they had to have gotten permission. They didn't storm the barracks and put that in the in Central, which would have been funny. But right, and then there was footage from the Sonic Speed Cafe, and the Sonic Symphony. Basically, thank you for supporting us. Look at these cool events. You haven't been to all four, surely. I mean,
Not all four, but they really did play a lot of Shadow stuff at the Symphony show. So they played, All Hail Shadow and
okay.
some from the Shadow game, and they showed a lot of footage from the Shadow game.
Right.
And the people went nuts when Maria was
shot.
getting the axe. I was
Oh, yeah.
the row in front of us really just lost their minds every time Maria showed up because it was just like itching with anticipation for that body to hit the floor.
He was like jumping up and down. He was grabbing his friend. He was hooting and hollering, and they did this 3 times.
Wow.
They shot Maria in the heart. Spoiler from Dark Beginnings, it's confirmed she's shot in the heart.
And you're to blame.
Not the same thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And yeah.
Right. Wait, so Bo, the last time you went to the symphony, you said it was the best concert you've ever been to.
True, yes.
Is that still the case a year later?
I think it's tough to compare the two because there's the magic of seeing it for the first time, and you don't quite get that the second time. But I really did enjoy. They changed up the set list. They played His World. They played Unknown from ME, kind of a mashup of the two versions of it, and they played some new stuff that wasn't in the previous set. So
Wow.
both of them have their things to recommend them.
Grant, did you cheer when Maria got shot?
No, I bowed my head respectfully, solemnly. I said the Lord's Prayer for her soul.
Oh wow. I think that's gonna happen in Sonic X Shadow Generations, I think.
Well.
Yeah. So
but yeah, that montage was all about look at places you haven't been. Look at us. Look at where the mascot costume gets to go.
right.
I've said this before, but it's kind of like meta marketing here. Like they're congratulating themselves on this, or they're advertising to us this marketing campaign, which is itself part of the marketing campaign. Like Fearless Year of Shadow is like an internal name that we're being made privy to.
Yeah, it's Inception levels deep
Yeah.
of marketing. And the whole, I mean, really the whole vibe of Sonic Central is this is for the diehards. There's not much
yeah.
effort made for like Sonic the Hedgehog. You know who that is, and you know what we're talking about. It's just straight into you know who Izuka-san is, you know who Ivo Gerskovich is, you know who these people are, and you know that this is not the first year of Sonic Symphony.
No.
You know a lot, probably, if you're watching Sonic Central. You know too much, and you need to back off if you're watching Sonic Central. But they continue to invite us. You know, they make it longer and they show us these fun activations, and then they continue to make things that are exciting. Because the next thing in the run of show, David, was what?
The next thing they announced a new series, YouTube exclusive, I'm assuming, called Chow Tales. 8 episodes of a cartoon that will have Chow. They didn't really get into detail about it. They're just like, it's coming soon. Keep tuned to the socials. So I'm sure it'll be on YouTube and Twitter and wherever else Sonic exists. Do they put these on Tumblr? I don't know. There was an official Sonic Tumblr once upon a time.
I think they probably seeded that Arlan and the Hedge blog, right? But on the one hand, it's like, wow, a Chow TV show announced in the same year we had a Knuckles TV show. We have a Shadow cartoon. What a wild world we live in. But also, it's like, we finally heard your prayers. You want a Chow mobile game, and we're giving you what you've always asked for, a Chow TV series.
Yeah. Well, maybe they'll at the end they will tease the game. They won't do that.
I've given up all hope on the idea of a Chow spin-off game, and I feel like those comments from that interview a couple weeks back, where Izuka's saying that it's just inseparable from Sonic Adventure, and to me, I think also gesturing toward it's a Naka thing, because it was something that did appear in Balan Wonder
World.
Land? Is it Land or World?
Everybody wants it to be Land, but it's
Wonder
Alice in Wonderland. It's the thing you don't want it to be. It's
a Wonder World.
Yeah. Is that an Oasis song, Wonder World?
Yeah, that's actually, if you go to an Oasis concert, you scream for that one.
Wonder World. And they're like, you mean Wonderwall? No, not that one.
That's right. They're coming back too. They're part of Fearless Year of Shadow, Oasis.
That's right. Just like Sonic and Shadow.
Oh man,
Liam and the other one.
Right. Which Gallagher do you think would show up on stage during a Sonic Symphony?
Oh, well, I can only think of Liam, and I don't know the other one's name.
Nolan?
Is it Noel, or is it Noel?
Noel.
Not Noel.
Noel. Yeah.
Noel.
Nigel, he's British. It's probably that.
It's one of those.
It could be that. And anyway, has Oasis played Sonic? Yes.
I'm sure they have.
Sure.
Can you imagine the two of them fighting over like who's Sonic and who's Tails? Like, it's probably bloody multiple noses.
Yeah.
The first
probably
time.
Legendary amount of Britishisms being, oh, you bloody buzzer. I don't know what they say.
Oh.
I am waiting for that like period in this show, like where we can't fucking stand each other and we're just like in it for the money, and then
that'll be fun.
And like we do a triumphant reunion tour, but we still like can't get over
just
it.
Bitter. Just like David, always lurking.
That's right.
Bo, his ska.
Wow. But that tour, it'll set records. I'm not sure what records they'll set. Good, like a Sonic record. Yeah, Chow Tales. I remember they did the Chow in Space short. People seem to like that, so maybe it is just sort of a spiritual continuation of that.
If it is that, I'm happy, because that's like the beginning of like all these wonderful artifacts at the start of the Tyson era, which is just like, yeah, we're gonna do that background joke from the Adventure series.
That's right.
This is a real thing now.
Right. Maybe we'll finally also get a short that shows us what The Man 3 was supposed to be. That's
what's the other one? The Chaos Not Work?
Chaos Not. That's right. I want to subscribe to that. Right. So after Chow, what did they tell us? They were like, "Hey, remember Roblox?" And I was like, "Yeah, I guess."
This is another one of those things where we're just like totally ignorant, and there's a whole contingent of
Right.
people who that's their experience of Sonic.
Yes.
I have played some of the Roblox Sonic Speed Simulator,
Mhm.
and it's been a while, and this is not going to bring me back. It doesn't play well on either Xbox Series X
Oh.
or PlayStation 5. So what do you want from me, Roblox? What kind of supercomputer do I need to play this game where it's not constantly hiccuping and loading and stuttering? And so I don't know how the kids are playing it on an iPad somewhere, but it doesn't work on the best consoles that money can buy.
Right.
See, I keep saying like, oh man, we're old and out of touch. We don't know what the kids are doing. And Grant's like, well, hang on, I'm plugged in a little bit.
Hey, I'm still cool with the kids.
They were on my lawn. I just told them to get off of it, and they started laughing. And I said,
Right.
get off my lawn," and they kept laughing.
Super Neo Metal Sonic.
Yeah, Super Neo Metal Sonic. He flies. You can fly. There's asteroids. Something. I don't. Whatever. It. If you're still plugged into it, I bet you're excited.
I'm going to help you with this next part because I'm the only one playing Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Are you playing it?
No.
Ah. Well, the Shadow cosplay is there, and the balls now have logos of Sonic's face and the Shadow OK sign.
Oh.
I don't know what the Shadow logo is. It
The
looks like
alien. Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah, does it have a
simple.
name?
it looks
They
like
haven't-
this, right?
Right. It looks like a tribal tattoo that you would have gotten in the mid 2000s.
Yeah, but appropriate for Shadow.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, is that Shadow's tramp stamp? That where? Yeah. So if you've been monkeying around, right, the ball skins.
Because there's Sonic, Tails, Amy, and Knuckles, but they also added Beat
Mhm.
and another one.
From Crazy
the-
Taxi, not BDJ.
Oh yeah,
the other one.
Axel.
Yeah,
Axel.
Axel.
Right. And then isn't one of the is it Kiru from isn't he in it too, or am I imagining that?
Maybe in the next wave.
Right. Or I don't know.
I
Either
don't know.
way, yeah, if you have the battle pass or whatever they call it,
Yeah,
that's when you get the shadow skin,
yeah, that's
and
right.
then the ball skins.
That's right. There's also a Knight's costume you can dress the monkey in.
Nice.
So you
What
can't
do they
put
call-
Sonic in the Shadow costume or the Knight's costume.
No.
What do they call the ball skins?
What do they call the ball skins? Those are free. Anyone can
The
download
fruit
them.
ball skins are free. That's true.
I am 8 years old. Right.
Well,
so
that's if you know the answer to what a ball skin is called, email us Sonic Podcast. No, wait, hold on. Scratch that. Sonic Weekly Podcast at gmail.com.
right.
Subject line: ball skin.
Put
Read them all.
forward, re in front of it so that we know that you're continuing the conversation that you heard here. Otherwise, how would we know?
Exactly. Then they were like, "Hey, 2 Point Museum. It's getting Sonic content."
I'll tell you
It's
who's excited for this. Wife of the Grant,
Oh,
Ashlyn, loves the 2 Point games.
okay.
And, she was chuckling a little bit to herself of like, because in the commercial, all of the students are having a wonderful time. There's lots of activities, there's statues, and the amenities are good. But
Yeah.
of course, when you're playing the game, at least I guess when she's playing the game, she's a ruthless dictator, cuts all amenities. It's the sort of thing where it's like maximize the profits, lower as long as they're not dead and they can still pay the tuition. I guess that's the campus one. Which one is this? Museum? Either way.
Yes,
Just keep them
museum.
coming and paying at the gift shop. And then the rest of it can be a death trap. I think that's her plan. And it sounds really fun. It's sort of like when you're playing Sims and you put them into a pool and then there's no way out.
Okay.
Just so a comment, because Ashlyn like this about the change from last year's symphony to this year's symphony is Ashlyn got way more into Sonic. So last year it's like, oh, it's kind of funny, you boys are playing this game the whole time you're here. And then this time it's like, do you want to do some more of the Unleashed campaign? We've done this part on the PlayStation, but we need to do it on the Xbox.
It's true. Yeah.
And you weren't even in the room. You're like,
yeah, I was taking a nap. I heard you guys. I was like, man, God, this is fucking nerdy.
A werehog level.
That's right. Sonic was happening in your house, and you were like, I'm elsewhere.
I was like, I'm too tired for this. We had a nice time going around and seeing a little bit of LA before taking Bo to the airport at the end. And it was nice to just not be Sonic plugged in for just a minute. But even when we weren't plugged into Sonic, Sonic was following us around because there was like plush toys and kids with shirts. And like that cloud sort of looks like it was Sonic is always there.
We did see some weird unlicensed merch at Venice Beach.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
but speaking of licensed merch.
Right.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. I was going to be like, well, did any of that unlicensed merch look like from Lego Sonic? I stumbled across that. We'll stick with Grant's transition. That's right.
No, I think you can't. We already, what happened.
I don't. Nothing's actually happened. This is all happening at once. We can do whatever we want. Yeah. But yeah, Lego Sonic still going strong. We had a nice little skit, which I guess continues what the Lego advertising as we've seen it. Getting Roger Craig Smith, getting Mike Pollock, getting Kirk Thornton on board. You're voicing the characters, they're Legos, but this time Izuka's in on the action. And it's advertising, I guess, 2 new sets that were announced, Sonic's Campfire Clash and Super Shadow vs. BioLizard. Even though neither of those are named explicitly in the ad, you only find that out by looking up a press release later, which is what I did. They look fun, and Izuka clearly should win an Academy Award.
I think so. I thought, I thought they stole the show. The humans. The humans stole the show from the toys, I thought.
Right. There was that other human who showed up briefly. I don't know who that guy is.
Not sure.
Is he a Lego guy?
Don't know.
Okay. Like, did the Lego people must have wrote this, right? Like this.
I think so because it seemed similar to the Lego skits that we've seen in the past, right? Didn't it have kind of that same structure and tone? And anyway, this is another world that I'm pretty out of touch with. Like, I don't really interact with the Lego side of the merch. I do interact with the merch, but not the Lego stuff.
Not the Lego stuff. Yeah, I mean, I got the first when it was the Lego Ideas Sonic set because it was, and also the Lego Dimensions stuff. I got those 2 things, but I haven't gotten any of the new sets because now it's like, oh, there's 20 and they all cost Lego prices, and you're like, oh, if I get one, I want them all, but I can't afford them all. Not really.
I will probably interact with one because I'm sure some relative will give my older son one for Christmas. But I don't know which one it will be.
Right. So you're not planning. You're like, I'm sorry, Bo Jr., but no. Modern Bo. I was trying to think. Wait, what do you call?
I like Bo Jr.
Bo Jr. Right.
Yeah.
Bo the second.
I mean, there are 2. So you've got Bo Jr. and you've got Modern Bo.
Modern Bo.
Yeah.
And then if there's
only one
a
of them
third,
Sonic build so far.
Right.
Well, give it. Yeah.
Well, are either of them like? Well, I guess maybe not the youngest, but right, the oldest. Is he into Lego at all? Like, or has it not been?
Yeah, we got a couple of sets for Christmas last year and put them together over those cold winter months and had some fun with it.
Okay.
Speaking of parents, we also saw our friend Jessica from the Sonic Mom episode in season 1.
Whoa.
Got to meet Bo. They're both parents, and that's a connection
right
that happened.
Did she have her child, or were you both childless? You're like,
no, we're both like, sorry kids, we're gonna go see the show later.
I don't think there were any children there. I didn't.
Sorry, kids.
No,
this
kids.
Sonic concert isn't for children.
Well, what was the youngest person that you think? I think the
Probably
youngest
6.
I saw was really, you saw? Okay. I
Yeah.
missed that. I thought I saw like a 15 and maybe like a 12-year-old, but not like a
There was
kid.
a guy and his kid like racing down the aisle, and I had this terrible vision of like, whoa, we're on kind of a balcony. I hope they stop in time, and they
Oh
did,
no,
thankfully. But
Oh my gosh.
that would end the show prematurely. But maybe while it was playing, the power of Sonic would fill the room, and that child would just bounce.
Yeah.
yeah, I think the crowd would catch him.
Eric Clapton would write a song, that's for sure.
Oh, Jesus.
Moving on.
That's right. So after the Lego bit was done, Evo put his hand in his palm and said, "Let's play the merch." Where they're like, "Okay, everyone, here's some stuff that you're gonna buy. We're gonna force you to buy it." So it started with a list of Lego sets that have been out for a long time. I don't know why they went through the list instead of saying the new ones. Uh, Shadow Escape, Knuckles mech, Tails in his boat, the Master Emerald Shine, and the Egg Drillster versus Soul Supersonic. We saw them again. They said it very lovingly. It's like, yeah, these are out. They're already out. Then they went, hey, Jax specific, releasing a 6-inch Shadow the Hedgehog figure, which is themed after Shadow Generations because he has like the wings, right? He's got the wings and
Mhm.
extra bits, so it is specifically merch for the game, which they haven't. I don't think they listed any prices for this stuff, so who knows? Wireless controllers. They've announced these before. I guess I don't know if one is out and the rest aren't or whatever. The Realms wireless controllers with a little figure inside, so you can unscrew it and have a mini Sonic. Have a good time. Then they announced what will surely be another overpriced first for figures statue, Shadow Evolved. By overpriced, I mean they're so expensive. I know they're large. I know there's different versions, but like, make a cheap one. That's all I want. They advertised the motorcycle helmet again, which has RPHA 12 Shadow with his mischievous smile. That's what they said in the show. He's not smiling. He's looking angry.
Shadow allowed to smile?
I don't think so. He smiled briefly in that something about Shadow the Hedgehog cartoon, and then was immediately abducted.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's allowed to. I still think that the helmets, they look weird to me because you have the face, but you also have the arms on the side of the head.
Yeah,
So
that's a little disturbing.
I don't know what's going on there. Something called Palverse Pele. They have a Shadow statue. Someone named Louis de Guzman or Louis de Guzman. Don't know who he is, but
He's not the actor from Boogie Nights and Oz. Tell you that much.
okay.
It's not Luis Guzman.
Right. I looked him up. Like, I guess he's done. He did something with SpongeBob once. He has his own like Astro. I don't know. He does stuff. But I think the one thing, because it was mentioned earlier in the video, they said it again this time. I don't get it. This is some sort of, I guess, current marketing speak. They use the word activation. What is
Grant,
that about?
as a marketing professional, tell us
Yes,
what's an activation.
Grant. What? When did the word activation start? When they're like, "Hey, stay tuned for more Shadow activations."
It has been at least behind the scenes marketing buzzword for some time.
Okay.
What it means is vague. What it means is unclear. Break it down. Activation. What part of it is active? There is going to be some sort of thing activating. It might just be that you get a coupon where you owe us money. Like who knows what it could be? It could be anything. It could be a mural with a QR code. It could be a QR code up your booty. I don't know. I don't know why.
Do you know what go-to-market strategy is? Like, I've worked at several places where somebody's like, "Oh yeah, I'm working on the go-to-market strategy," and it's like, what is that? And then they talk for a minute, and then they like throw a smoke grenade and leave without really answering the question.
I mean, that's all of marketing. It's just sort of obfuscation. It's just, where's the ball? It's it's all sleight of hand stuff.
Wow. Well,
Go to market strategy. I mean, I could give you a real answer, but it would not be a real answer. You know what I mean?
I see. So no one knows. Somebody said it
No one
once,
knows.
and just
Yeah.
everyone else ran with it because that person sounded like the smartest one in the room.
How are you going to convince people to buy the product? Whoa, that's a good question to ask.
So it's a go-to market strategy.
Yeah.
Well, does any of this merch interest either of you?
Uh,
Which merch are we talking about? No.
Everything I
the
read,
Legos, the Jack
yeah,
Specific, the Realms.
No,
right.
the controllers are kind of cute, but no, you know, I don't know.
Uh-huh. Okay. Well,
I think maybe the Jack Specific is probably the most compelling. Like if somebody gave that to me, I'd be like, "Oh, thank you for this nice gift."
right.
And the other ones would be like, "Oh, well, that's a strange thing for Sonic to show up in."
I'm really
Right.
trying to de-toyify. I got a chest.
Yeah, you only got one toy delivered to you while I was there.
That's true. And
The Werehog.
yeah, the Werehog toy.
So,
And we were
right.
playing Unleashed, and you know, it just sort of one thing led to another, and the Amazon button got clicked.
You have a button
You just
specifically.
stretch out those arms and
Mhm.
clicked.
Wow.
So no, I'm trying to have less toys. The next, speaking of activations and speaking of things that were vague,
Yeah.
the next thing that happened was the Sonic Top Golf, which I'm not clear what that is or
Okay, so
how it works, because it look in the video, it's appeared as though you hit the ball and then on screen, perhaps there's a screen inside. Your friends are watching a screen. Maybe I don't even know if that's true. Sonic is
I
running through a level and you're playing golf, and somehow those worlds meet at Top Golf in an activation.
I'm also mystified by this. I have played Topgolf once.
Oh,
It was a work function,
so
and
you're the
I said,
expert.
do I have to go to this?" And they said, "Yes, you have to go to this." And the boss of the bosses got like kind of aggressively drunk and started like really interrogating a couple of guys, and was it was really uncomfortable after a little bit. And I saw all that going on. It's like, oh, I wonder if I should intervene here and like help out. And it's like, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to get an Uber and leave and see if anybody notices. And I got out of there. But uh, yeah, so it's an elevated platform off of which you hit golf balls, and then there's like landing zones for the golf balls. And if you hit certain ones, you get points. And how that would connect to Sonic, I'm not sure, because it's also a game. And I think it's probably going to be an arcade thing that is next to the golf thing and not really related to your swinging and hitting. But I think this thing is going to be lost media. What I want listeners to do, and this is not legal advice, go steal one of these things so we can clone it and have it.
Dump that ROM. We'll make it playable on MAME. It'll be great. Well,
what more do you need to say? So the next thing, David, was the thing that everybody was looking forward to, because
yes.
a tease for this happened over the weekend
On Batman Day.
on Batman Day.
Which is... Why is that specifically Batman Day? Like, why is...
The date has moved a few times, and it's just a date that was chosen.
Okay. Yeah, so... Yeah, like you were saying, on Batman Day, there was this little tease animated by Tyson Hess and his wife of Gotham City, and there's a crook. He's got a bag of money, and who shows up behind him? Whoa, it's Shadow, dressed as Batman, stole his clothes. Batman's running around in his briefs, I guess. It was a tease. What does this mean? The only and then it's central. The set changes. We're no longer wherever Izuka is sitting. We're in a different room, sparsely furnished. Here's Tiffany Smith. I had to look up who she was because it was like actress, and I'm like, who are you?
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe she hosted a show about the Warner Brothers archives.
Did she? Okay, because she definitely felt like Warner Brothers talent. Like she did not come from Sega. They did not find her. DC Comics gave her to them. And then I was like, oh, so on her Wikipedia page, she's best known for playing Meghan Markle in the second Harry X. Wait, what's her? Yeah, Megan. They did a trilogy of movies about her,
The royal
Harry
family.
meeting her and getting married and then leaving the palace. The second one where they get married, she plays Meghan Markle. She isn't in 1 or 3, just 2. But also Harry's different in all 3. So
Hmm.
it's great.
Wow.
Yeah. But
See our previous coverage for which princes have played Sonic.
Yeah, that is surprising. I thought I recognized her because I have previously written social media marketing copy for Warner Brothers accounts where
Mhm.
there was this show that was on their YouTube, and it may still be, and I can't remember what it was called, but it was something where a host was looking at props, talking to prop department people, going
Okay.
out, looking at sets and so forth. And if I'm remembering right, it was
Her?
Tiffany. What's her name? Tiffany Smith.
Smith.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I believe Tiffany Smith hosted a Warner Brothers thing. If not, maybe I recognized her because I thought she was Meghan Markle, and I'm
Yeah.
delirious.
That's
But
right.
anyway, they're just on set. They're just talking to each other, and she's asking Evo questions like, "Can we talk about this DC Batman crossover?" And he's like, "Yes, we can."
It feels like it's from a different show. Like
It's very. It's a little. It's a. It was a little.
it felt
It
a
was a
little
little.
right, like that was part of some DC show, and she was just talking to people, and then they were like, "Oh, we'll throw it into the Central because I guess it'll be announced here, and it will never be part of whatever DC thing it was filmed for." But yeah, uh, they announced a 5-issue miniseries, which I don't want to get hard on Evo, but he clearly doesn't understand comics. I don't think because when he described it, he's like, "There's 5 comics. One comes out every month." And I'm like, "Yes, that's how comics work."
Well, first let's say what we're even talking about, which is this is
Yes.
the DCX Batman. Sorry,
DCX
DCX Sonic crossover
Yes.
that will
Yes.
begin in 2025, and it was revealed that it will continue through at least 2026. And this is
Mhm.
comics, at least 5 comics written by Ian Flynn, but published by DC,
Yes.
with presumably some crossover or some pointing towards the IDW Sonic series, or maybe not. But in any case, we
Yeah.
saw the DC Sonic mashup. So it's not just Shadow as Batman, and it wasn't Sonic as Superman, which I think everybody was pretty happy about. Everybody, was like, well, Sonic's just obviously the Flash, but will they make him Superman just because he's blue and Superman's also fast and like you can make, but Superman is Knuckles, which makes perfect sense. They are the last of their kind. They're super strong. They can kind of fly or glide. Like technically Superman is leaping in a single bound, right?
Yeah. So he's Golden Age Superman.
Yeah, there you go. And they both have a sensitivity to green rocks.
I didn't think about that. That's good. That's good. Yes.
So that works really well. Silver as Green Lantern is perfect. Amy as Wonder Woman,
Mhm.
sure. Tails as Cyborg. The Cyborg costume has a lot of red dots on it, which is unfortunate, but
Yeah.
I guess it makes sense. We just saw this with 9 in Sonic Prime of a Cyborg Tails, so I guess
Yeah.
there's something there.
Right. Well, they could have made Tails Kid Flash, right? Or Impulse. Probably not. They wouldn't do that, but they
Yeah,
could
probably
have.
not.
Um.
Aquaman, if he was still in the Sea Fox.
Oh yeah.
Who would be Aquaman? I guess Vector.
Right.
Okay, so Eggman's Lex Luthor.
Right.
Is the Joker
We don't know. We don't know this.
infinite?
Is the Joker Infinite? Well,
Maybe.
Infinite has a mask. And
Right.
who's the Zaz? He's the one with the face, right?
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes. Right. They didn't give Knuckles Superman trunks, but then I was like, oh, you probably can't because then it just looks like it's all out
red.
there.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. Red would, it would look like he was wearing assless chaps, which is not what they want.
Yeah.
Same with why although I don't understand how the Shadow Batman mask works because you can still see the outline of the red stripe on his
Yeah.
grill, but it's grayed out. So that's a mask? I don't get it. I don't
Right.
get it. I don't understand.
It's also not an effective mask because he just looks like Shadow.
Sure
Like
does.
the eyes should be covered. They should just be white. But maybe they were worried it would look too creepy. But then, I don't know. I guess.
It is strange to have a red Sonic.
Uh huh.
It just looks really weird, and a blue Knuckles is pretty strange too. So
Oh,
just we finally made it.
there's just palette glitches on the Genesis. That's what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Oh
still,
yeah,
I
who's
think it's
Ashura?
right.
Yeah. Go on.
I think it's cool. I think it's cooler that
Mhm.
it's DC than if it were Marvel. I don't know why, but I just feel like they match better. There was
yeah.
already some connections to the Flash and Sonic.
Mhm.
The movies made that pretty explicit, and then the movies made the comparison to Batman.
Mhm.
Maybe it was just the movies.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it, especially that they clarified, hey, in this comic, they're going to meet the Justice League. Like at first, it kind of felt like, oh, it's just them cosplaying as DC characters, and that to me isn't as interesting as Sonic actually meeting the Flash. But that's how they're pitching it as. It's like, oh, Sonic and the Justice League are crossing over, and it read like they're meant to meet. So that's what I'm hoping actually happens in this story. We did
It'll be like when Sonic met Image Comics, right? When he met
right,
Spawn and
right, because
Savage Dragon.
I guess back in the day it was pitched to DC at one point, like, hey, we should have Sonic meet the Flash, and
Who pitched it?
I don't remember. I mean, it was the Ken Penders era, so it may have been Ken.
I just wanted to check that part of the bingo box.
Yeah.
Thanks
Oh,
thanks to Pig Dan for the join our Discord to see that reference to what we're talking about.
Can't avoid Ken. Right. Somebody did ask him about it, and he was like, "Oh, it's kind of ironic. The first story I sold to Archie was a, a pastiche, a parody of Flash and Reverse Flash." It's like, oh yeah, I guess Evil Sonic is that. Maybe, sure,
Yeah.
whatever. Right, and there's also merch. You can already buy t-shirts at target.com. So even though in the video they were like, oh, it comes later, guess it comes now. So
Yeah, there is a working link. You can definitely just search it and buy it. And it's images from that teaser of
Yeah.
Shadow as Batman. And
Yeah.
it kind of reminds me of when the Looney Tunes crossover with DC, especially the McDonald's early 90s crossover.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
felt like every kid my age growing up had a Daffy Duck as Batman with the blue and gray costume McDonald's
Right.
toy somewhere in their like house
Right.
for some reason.
Right. I feel like we also had what's her name? Petunia Pig. You know, like
She was Wonder Woman.
she was Wonder Woman. I'm like, who the hell is this?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it looks fun. I guess we'll see what they do there. But like you mentioned IDW, they are noticeably absent from all of this.
True.
And that is interesting because you would think, well, IDW has the license to make Sonic comics. Shouldn't they be involved in some way? But
Not only are they not mentioned here, they're not mentioned at all in the Sonic Central.
that's
they're
true.
they're just not like you. Surge being part of the mobile games is the most
Yeah.
IDW gets a shout out.
Right.
Ian is all over the place because
Yeah.
Ian is writing anything that can be written.
He can't stop. He wrote what showed up next, which was the Sonic X Shadow Generations story trailer, which I thought, well, it looked pretty good. It confirmed, hey, Mephiles is in this thing, because I was like, they have to put him in there. Why haven't we seen him yet? There he is.
Mephiles Nation, rise up.
That's right. There's a biblically accurate Black Doom, which I guess they showed on the that poster that they revealed a couple weeks ago. I forget when, but I mean that's what he looks like, right? He's just the guy and the thing. He's
Mhm.
and they showed a couple. They didn't show any new levels, just like, oh, here's the 2D version of said act. So we haven't. I don't think they showed any new stages, but we did see new enemies, including Mephiles. But it, I think what makes that trailer interesting is the beginning and ending, where we see Gerald and we see Maria. We see them at the beginning. Shadow wakes up, and at the end, there's a tease, which is like, are we going to tell the story that feels like they should have told probably since '06, because '06 involved time travel and Shadow. And what did he not do? He didn't think about Maria. But here in a game, time's all crazy. Who does he see? In the distance, he whispers her name. It's Maria. That gives me hope. Like the story might get it, like I think it could be really good if it's really diving into like what the heck? What the heck?
I think that you're on the money. I
Mhm.
think that some folks have been speculating that maybe Ian is going to do a version of what he did in the Archie comics, because that Shadow didn't have the exact same backstory as the SA2 Shadow right away, because it just wasn't shown and adapted. So he met
Right.
Maria later in like a digital space
Yes.
via Nicole, the Hollow Lynx that was Sally Acorn's personal computer pal. So in any case, basically the essential thing of it is that he gets to reunite with her after her death, and then find closure and peace and renew his vow to become a hero. And so that seems to me like that would probably be where that story would be going. But that's just a guess. I don't know. That's
Right.
that's
I
a
do think like Shadow not being quite clear on his past, because are his memories his own? Is this all simulation? Is this the Time Eater? Like that all works with Shadow, and it's in keeping with his characterization.
Yeah.
yeah. And I guess we should just maybe jump ahead a little bit here to talk about the Dark Beginnings Part 1.
Yeah. Right. Because there was a little trailer where they're like, hey, here's 3 episodes, here's the dates. But then the very next day, oh, here's episode 1, Shadow and Maria. And
Emerald,
Emerald, yeah. I'll say it right now. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good animation.
so good.
Yeah.
It looked fantastic. It was one of the best looking shorts, I think, that we've seen from this run of Sonic shorts. Like, it was just fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think aside from a little bit of clunky dialogue about, well, as you know, Maria, your illness is helped by this low gravity. Like, there's that minor stumble at the beginning, and then just the rest was really cool.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely like the transitions because it's showing us the past, but it's not actually. It is going on in Shadow's mind. Like
It's got the dream logic of like, I'm in this situation, but I'm here, and I guess I'm just gonna go with it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so like, and also the shot with Maria, the silhouette, like where her heart is, like
Tasteful.
yeah, and we
You don't
see a
have
bit of
blood spurting out of the
right,
gaping chest wound.
right, just a static flat shot of her dying on the floor. No, yeah, I mean, I think there's some right, some great cinematography, animation, like those are models as well. Like sometimes it didn't quite feel like a model. Like it definitely,
It looked really good. Yeah.
yeah. And I didn't double check, but I didn't see Tyson's name in the credits to that one. So
I would be very surprised if he didn't have some fingerprints on it.
right, but I'm imagining he would be busy with like
This
Sonic
is
3.
yeah, this is the rise of the TMNT guy.
Oh
And
yeah,
his
okay.
company. Kevin something.
Kevin Feige. Yeah.
Kevin-
he's also
wow.
Kevin Feige and Kevin
Stretching out.
Marvel stuff.
Yeah, no, it was good.
I forget, but the credits are out there. But yeah, and then the last shot was very exciting because it was the first time in over 20 years that this bit of continuity has become canon again, I guess, or shown, which is that the moon is blown up.
Yeah.
Eggman blew up the moon, and that's still true in the present day of Shadow, which also does make me think how possibly, maybe impossible, this short could be to somebody who's, sort of, a casual fan is
a fight with Emerald. Like, this is not for
right. No one's gonna know who.
Oh yeah, I love that Sonic guy.
Well, I'm just if you know nothing, if you just know Shadow and you watch it, you're like, yeah. So Shadow fights a robot, and then his girlfriend gets shot, and the moon explodes. You're like, no,
Uh,
that's not quite it. That's not quite it.
no, no, not quite. But I mean, we do get a little bit of like there's some because I think in the that Koro comic that just came out, he also was like, "Oh, I'm supposed to help you, but I can't." That's echoed here in the cartoon. Um, I don't know.
Shadow's
I
frustration, that beat of like that she's
Yeah,
not cured. Yeah, that was cool.
yeah, and I feel like that makes sense, and we haven't really gotten a sense of that being part of his character, but of course it should be, especially if Maria's like that was his one and only friend up there.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, I like, and I'm curious to see where it goes next. Right, we have finding the way, and then to the arc, and well, I guess we'll see the rest of Team Dark at the very least. That's what we know. But
Right, they were in the trailer,
yeah,
and we know that there's extended footage, deleted scenes that will be part of the PlayStation
oh yeah,
release, which was also part of the trailer. I think
right.
maybe.
So maybe that's where we'll get the shot of Maria just laying on the ground, being dead. That's where.
Blood pooling.
Yeah.
Uh, Next up, Gerald Robotnik's journal. There was a commercial in a. We can circle back and talk more about Dark Beginnings, but I feel like we did cover it. But yeah, so
Yeah.
the Gerald Robotnik journal commercial, and then there was the One More Thing.
Uh-huh.
Jeff Fowler's thank you to fans for the movies,
Mm-hmm.
and then blah 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 blah
Well,
blah.
and then there was more if you
And then
watch
there
the
was one
Japanese
more
version.
big thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
Where basically it's like, oh, here's a bunch of things that are happening in Japan. He's Sonic's the ambassador to the JKJO karate tournament in November. Sonic worked with the Tokyo Fire Department for disaster preparation. I can say this word.
Sonic is a burning ranger.
He's a burning ranger, but that already happened. Hey, that Shadow comic, buy it, and Sonic's going to be on a plane, fly it. I mean, that's basically what it was. I do want to mention that not in the central, but later, like Evan Stanley, who's the other like main writer of the IDW. Apparently, like she's the one it's her handwriting in the
oh,
journal. Like
yeah.
she wrote it and tweeted out, "Oh yeah, now I can't stop writing as Gerald Robotnik,"
Oh
which I thought
no.
was it's like the
Well,
Elvis
it's kind of
thing.
like
Oh
well, it's kind of like
yeah.
Grant. You start talking like Gerald after a while.
All
All of
you.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
Put that on
Worthless
your bingo
humans.
card.
Freaking okay. But then the biggest thing did not happen at the Central.
No, it didn't.
It happened during the Sony State of Play,
Yes.
and
Uh,
that was a big surprise.
yeah, because they had mentioned, oh, there's going to be some DLC later. They finally named it the Sonic 3 Movie Pack, where it's an exclusive level taking place in Tokyo with movie Shadow the Hedgehog, voiced by none other than Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Wait,
Whoa.
yeah, that seems like a pretty big get.
Keanu Reeves as Shadow in a side DLC pack for the side game in a re-release of a 10, 12, however year old game. Imagine telling that to yourself. I don't know how many years ago. You pick how
When
many years
Sonic
ago.
Generations came out, yeah.
right. Be like, hey, did you know in 13 years Keanu will be in this? And I'd be like, what?
What?
Is John Wick out yet? I don't know. Yeah. So that's if you get the digital deluxe, that'll come free, but it will be available separately as paid DLC. They didn't say how much. I can't imagine it would be that much more. I mean, digital deluxe is $10 more. So, but yeah, I mean, it looks it looks good. I mean, it makes sense. They haven't done anything like properly movie wise in the games. There was a movie inspired costume and colors, but we talked about that. Those costumes are boring. And I mean, they have shown up in Sonic Dash, which we know nothing about. Uh, so we'll be able to understand it this time.
Do you think
Yeah,
they're going to do Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie, the game?
Ooh, fun question. No, but I wish they would.
yeah,
They would have done that in the 90s.
Oh,
And weirdly, it would have come out on the Super Nintendo. I just associate with that with like
Right.
the movie, the game.
yeah. It would have been packaged with Street Fighter the movie, the game. I think. Yeah. I wouldn't mind a full game. Like what it could take place. I mean, they could do a thing where some levels take place in between movies, and fill out. If they really wanted to go all out, they would hire friend of the show Pat Casey, to script it. And
I'm thinking like a really bad 2D license game where it's like, oh, Sonic is at the bar from the first movie, and you've got to like check behind every patron to find, the whoopee
It's
cushions or something.
isometric 3D.
Yeah.
Like it's
yeah,
Just
I'm into
some-
that.
yeah. That kind of reminds me that we have a mailbag and we have a
Oh,
question here from our friend William. Here's the question. Well, first they say, "Hey everyone, was wondering how everyone feels about the recent inclusion of different skins in Sonic games. We've been getting a wide variety from simple costumes to revived concept art. What skins have you excited, and what would you like to see show up in the future?" Thanks, William. You can write us at sonicweeklypodcast@gmail.com, and probably we'll read it.
I always thought of myself as like, I'm too good for this little distraction with visual enhancement. Just let me play the game. I'm in it for the experience here. And then they put out the soap shoe costume on Frontiers, and I was like, yes, I want that. That presses my 2001, pre 9/11 was great. Button, like,
Yeah.
I'm in. That's my default for Sonic Frontiers.
I rarely play Frontiers without the soap shoes. They look good. They
Yeah.
look
It's just
cool.
the era where we had the optimism of like grinding down a rail with your shoes. Like, we don't have that now.
right. Nobody dares touch the rails now.
Yeah, Sonic
gotta-
Yeah, you're not
never
gonna
did that
even
again.
come close to that. Yeah. But
Yeah.
no, America never came
Right,
close
America's
to that. And
top-
the world
Right.
never felt that good again.
Right.
Mm.
There is a man out there. If you go on YouTube, you can look up a documentary called The Last Sober. It is there's some adult language in there, so don't let your small children watch it. It is a baffling video, and they kind of gloss over the fact that the person who stars in it was kicked out of the UK and banned from ever returning, which I feel like should have been the story, but wasn't. Instead, it's just I'm a man in my 40s and I still wear these shoes from 2001 and grind down rails.
Wow.
I'm the last sober. Like it, yeah. But and he's also like, man, it's more than just Sonic Adventure 2. He does name drop Sonic, which I think
Okay, so that answers that. Now, my next question is, which forums was he posting on? I wonder if we've interacted. The skin that I gotta say I'm also really excited about too is the Sonic
Yeah.
Jam skin.
Yeah.
in Sonic Generations for Classic Sonic, because that Classic Sonic's cool. He's fine. Not too down on Classic Sonic and that he's an imposter and he's Santiago and
he does look a little he looks better in the new renders.
I think so.
Where they got rid of because it was this weird wanting to be a hybrid of the Japanese and American versions, but it's like, oh, they don't work together. Pick a lane and stick to it, and it feels like they've picked a lane now. So,
They picked a lane.
they picked a lane, the left
Elaine
lane.
Bennis.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, right. She is. She's dancing. Yeah. I mean, that I'm looking forward to that skin too. I think the Terrio skin will be that's a fun novelty, but I don't know how much I'd actually use it. I think they should bring back all of the costumes from Sonic Adventure 2. Remember, they were all the holiday
right, the
costumes.
two-player ones. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's all the 2-player ones, and there are also some weird costumes in the Rivals games that you never.
Doesn't one of the Rouge ones go pretty hard too? Am I recalling that right?
Yeah, some of those they might bump up the rating.
Rating.
Right.
I would take it all. I mean, it should all just be optional. All the Forces accessories as well. The gamer hat. Sonic should be able to wear his stupid birthday glasses at any point.
All right, we're doing our smooth transition into the Rings of Saturn update. So I've been out for a couple of weeks with this, but hey, do you guys know about the beloved shooting game Doom?
Oh, sure.
id Software.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I've ever heard of it. What is it?
You can play it on your refrigerator, they say.
Whoa.
You can play it on anything, and you could also play it on some consoles in the 90s, specifically the PlayStation and the Saturn. And do you guys know about the rivalry between the PlayStation and the Saturn, about which of them can do transparencies? This is a big deal in the magazines in the 90s, still a big deal among Saturn people in the day, because the line was that the Saturn can't do transparencies. If you look at any game that's ported by a Western developer from the PlayStation, they don't do a transparent thing. They do like a mesh. Like
Saturn just can't do it.
Dotted grid. It can't do it. But Burning Ranges can do transparencies. It's fine. It's fine. See, I'm saying it's fine. Bingo card, listeners. It's not David. But so I found, if you put in a little cheat code in your Doom, what happens on the Saturn version? The walls become transparent. You can see through them and see enemies. And whoa, hey, that's helpful for your cheating. Is it proper transparency? No, it's the mesh. They didn't bother doing it. Relay. But so why do I mention this? Is like kind of a minor cheat code. It's already known on the PlayStation, but just nobody knew the Saturn one. So I just tweeted it out. I've got better cheat codes to write about. But this got picked up all over the world. So I've had things written up in French. I've had things written up in Portuguese, but German, that was a new one. Whoa. And then somehow the story got syndicated to Yahoo Finance. So
what?
On the Yahoo Finance feed, it's like Saturn code for transparent walls found in Doom after 27 years.
Right. Now, I don't know how close you've been paying attention to the stock market, but how has the Dow Jones been affected by the discovery?
It has hit record levels. Not even joking. Record levels for the Dow, same time as this news was breaking. I'm not asserting correlation. Past performance may not be blah, blah, blah. Consult your financial advisor. But, this is legal advice.
Right. So should I
play Saturn Doom?
So what should we invest in next? What are you investing in next?
Well, so I also invested in a very, very strange game called Revolution X, and you get to choose your own adventure here. Is the subtitle for this game "Music is the Weapon" or featuring Aerosmith? Because both of them are on the title screen, and it's not clear which one's the real one. Do you know about Revolution X?
Revolution X was a huge hit at my bowling alley arcade. It was, I don't know if it was it was a huge hit. I would say that
it was well received on the arcade version
because it combined things that people loved: shooting, because the controllers were Uzis.
Yeah, it's a light gun game.
And Aerosmith was, I guess, fine. Nobody really cared. I don't think too much about. I mean, Aerosmith was shown as a big deal in, say, Wayne's World 2, and they were a big deal on radio and stuff.
It's part of their resurgence because they had the Run DMC Walk This Way. Was it Run DMC? Am I getting wrong? No,
it is.
Yeah,
you just wouldn't think of them as leading a counterculture revolution.
Yes, the premise of this game is that an authoritarian government has taken over and banned fun, and specifically banned music. And who are the last holdouts? It's you, the player, and Aerosmith, the band. And you got to shoot your way out and liberate the music and the fun.
No other band was interested. They all gave up willingly.
Yeah. Every other band was like, you know what?
Paul McCartney was like, yeah, go ahead. Wait.
Not enough of the tunes. I think it's time to hang it up. Aerosmith will carry on. That's all we need. Dude, look like a lady. Well, they did.
I say it's fine.
Oh.
Right.
Well, so if you want to cheat at this game, I found the code, so you can cheat. You can get infinite CDs. So in this game, music is sometimes the weapon. You can throw CDs. Infinite laser discs. You can also throw those. They're more powerful than CDs.
Wow.
And infinite super gun. So actually, music's not the real weapon. The gun, is the actual
The actual
weapon in this
gun.
game.
Never would have
And
guessed.
so if you want to cheat at this game, and I do, you can put in this code. Nobody knew about it, and Revolution X. What a wonderful thing to learn existed, because I did not have it in the arcade in my bowling alley. Bowling alley where I lived was run by a local drunk who rarely opened it, and I think was usually passed out on the floor in there.
Oh, which lane do you think was his favorite one to be passed out on?
Oh, I think it was behind the bar. It
Oh,
didn't make it
okay.
out to the lanes.
Didn't make it out to the lanes. So
Moving on for that depressing topic. Last game I invested in, Earthworm Jim 2.
Oh, I love
Oh.
Earthworm Jim
Classic shiny entertainment. We don't talk about the creator.
too. Sure.
Earthworm Jim 2, it's got a lot of cheat codes already, but you know what? They only work on the US version of the game. If you're in Japan, or you're in Europe, or if you're in Australia and you have the PAL version, tough luck. You cannot cheat at this game. You got to play it
Wow.
the right way.
Wow.
Until now, I found the missing codes for Earthworm Jim 2,
Oh my God.
PAL, and NTSC-J. And this is David, tangentially relevant to you.
Oh.
There's a very long-running thread on the Sonic Retro forums about how the internet lies about cheat codes, about
Yep.
how GameFAQs and all the magazines, they have just bogus cheat codes in there. You put them in and nothing happens. And so we, the participants in this thread, are going through and doing the work of, do these work? Are they good? And they noted on the very first page, the very first post in this thread, hey, the ones for Earthworm Jim 2, they don't work on the other versions. And so now we've resolved it. The first post in that thread is now answered. We're going to keep the thread going.
What year was that thread started?
It's
do
closure.
you know?
Oh boy,
It's been a couple
it's
years,
at least,
I think.
Yeah, 4 years old, I think.
Yeah.
2020, we're talking.
All right.
Lockdown,
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah. What do you want to?
What
You're a
else are you
couple
gonna
months
do?
into lockdown. What are you going to do? You're going to vet the cheat codes.
Exactly. Man, I bet Sega Sages wishes you existed when they were new, before they became Game Sages.
I did exist when they were new. I was submitting codes to Sega Pages.
But I
at age
bet
11.
I bet they wish they had adult Bo who knew how to look deep.
Yeah, I can do it better now.
Right.
So it was Brian Preble who ran that site. I don't know. Shout out Brian Preble. I don't know where he went,
Mhm.
but I sent in a cheat code one time, and he said, "Hey, thanks for sending in these cheat codes. Hey, we want to run some articles about games on the sites. If you have any ideas, you can pitch me." And I was like, "Cool. Is it okay that I'm 11?" And he's like, "Oh boy, probably
Wish you hadn't
not."
said that.
Yeah. So I remember very specifically going and asked my parents, like, "Hey, can I write for this website?" And they're like, "No, you can't write for this website."
You could have been like, who's the almost famous guy? Cameron Crowe.
There you go.
You could have.
of the young cub journalist who definitely should not be
Right.
but the online version.
Singing Tiny Dancer as you dig into Earthworm Jim 2 on the Sega Saturn.
Your parents were right. And
Yeah. All right. So last game in the Rings of Saturn update
Whoa.
is TNN Motorsports presents Hardcore 4x4, the truck racing game that weirdly lost the TNN license shortly after it was released, and it was reissued without the TNN logo on it. Don't know what happened there, but so this
you know
game.
what TNN stands for, right, David?
Tennessee News Network.
It's Truck Nuts Network.
Oh, okay.
People are nuts for these trucks.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the PlayStation version has a bunch of weird Easter eggs. Like you can put in some special name and you get this asteroids mini game with the developers' faces.
Oh.
And does that exist on the Saturn version? Answer: no.
Oh.
But it has its own weird little Easter eggs, including like a debug mode where you can screw with the textures and you can make them all look like weird polygons. And I don't know, I thought it was cool. And then also you can do this really weird code that's very elaborate. You got to put your name in as Steve, all capitals Steve, and then you got to pause the game, and you got to be holding L and R while you pause the game, and then you got to put in this like several button sequence, and then the game will say hardcore to confirm, and then you're like, what happened? I don't know what's going on. But if you drive the wrong way on the track, instead of saying wrong way, it will show a picture of a woman. And who's the woman? Who can say? It's a weird Easter egg, presumably put in by Steve or somebody who knows Steve. I found it, and now it is known.
Oh, is it like a sexy picture, or is it like?
No, it's just like some lady,
just a normal picture,
like a headshot,
just like a nice smiling,
okay,
right? Because
when it says
not like a little nicer than a driver license photo.
Okay, right. Because when you said, it says hardcore, I'm like, oh, is it a sexy bikini lady? Like, oh, okay.
Right.
No.
We only see her face. I don't know what she's wearing. But.
Oh, maybe there's another code to see the rest of her. She's dressed as Sonic. Wow.
So there it is. That's you're caught up on the Rings of Saturn.
Okay.
Thank you, Bo.
Right. That is a lot.
That is a lot. You know,
I know we
revolutions around.
Yeah, well, we've had we've had a lot to catch up on, and big things have been happening on Saturday.
That's true.
So hopefully you skipped straight to this part, or you listened to the whole episode, because guess what? We're at the frickin' this part.
Oh, we're at the end. Okay.
Yeah. King Ice.
King Ice, right? We didn't talk about King Ice because
we kind of talked about King Ice.
Well, right, because in Sonic Central, who was wearing a King Ice necklace? It was
all of us.
It was Azuka.
Oh, and Azuka.
And Azuka. And there was a King Ice statue between Evo and Azuka. But they didn't bother to announce there's a new wave of Ice King Ice. You can get Blaze, Silver, Metal Sonic, and Super Silver, only for $200 each. God, why? I don't... well, if you feel like spending $200 on a King Ice piece of bling, do it while listening to the end of another episode of Sonic Weekly. That's right, Sonic Weekly, the only weekly show with Sonic in the title about Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah, that's right. It was jam-packed this week. We might revisit some of this later. Maybe we'll never talk about Sonic again. But hey, to find out what happens next, there's only one surefire way to know, and that's by subscribing to this podcast. Do it through your podcatcher of choice, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. If you're an Android, part of the Android faithful podcast addict, do it, love it, log it. You can, rate and review these shows in app. That helps us out. Go ahead, write, cool show, period. People will know. But if you don't even want to deal with podcatchers, we're on YouTube as well. It's at Sonic-Weekly. You can subscribe there. It's not just audio, but also game footage from friend of the show, Jack of Old Games. Wonder what he'll play this week. I mean, if you watch this on YouTube, you already know, because it's the end. Hey, and you can like, comment, and subscribe. Do all the fun YouTube stuff there. And if you want to reach out to the show, we have a mailbag segment. It's sonicweeklypodcast@gmail.com. Drop us a line. And if you want, you can ask for our Discord link. That's right, where you can talk to like-minded Sonic the Hedgehog fans about all sorts of things, including Sonic. You can talk about the recent announcements from Sonic Central. Be like, whoa, I can't wait for Chow Tales. I'm sure there's somebody who that was their most excited thing. I want to know who you are. Hey, but we also, if you want to help out the show more than just liking and reviewing, we do have a Ko-fi. It's just Sonic Weekly. You can do just a one-shot tip in the jar, or you can, subscribe, become an executive producer. $5 a month, and you get some extra goodies from wife of the Grant, Ashlyn. I don't have the list. Were there new people? Executive producers?
We just read from the P's and the S's.
We just read from the P's and the S's, and of course I forgot.
We can do it off the top of our heads. So it's Pig Dan, Pabsy, Sonicu, Sirtu,
Saving Throws. Yeah, so you can go ahead and do that, and it's only if you've got some extra money that helps cover the costs of hosting and production and all that fun stuff, so we can keep doing this thanks to, I'll assume it's Smoovies for the edit. If not, edit that out, whoever's editing this.
Thank you, editor.
Yes, and of course, thank you, listeners. Thank you, Bo, for changing the face of finance. And thank you, Grant, for knowing marketing speak, because who else? We don't. I don't understand it.
Go to the market.
Thank you, David. We're going to market now.